Seb Frey, the Realtor here, and in this video, I'm going to ask a question which nobody else is asking, and that is, are rising mortgage interest rates actually good for you? If you want to find out the answer to that burning question, you need to watch this video. All right, well, before I get into all that, would you do me a huge favor? Would you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel? I would really appreciate it if you would. And don't forget to click the little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a very brand new, interesting, and thought-provoking video, kind of like this one. All right, well, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've heard the news that there's been a big change in the mortgage market. You know, mortgage interest rates, which were at rock bottom lows earlier this year, they've shot up, way up, and that's causing a lot of consternation, you know, a lot of concern, you know, in basically every corner of the real estate market from coast to coast. You know, that this rising mortgage interest rates are going to have, like, you know, a big negative impact on the real estate market, but maybe they're actually having a big positive impact on the real estate market. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So if you are looking to buy a home and you are getting a mortgage, you know, one thing to understand is that about 75 to 80%, something like that, of home buyers are also getting a mortgage, right? So you are in an environment which everybody else also is in. They have the same issue that you have, and that is rising mortgage costs. And so, you know, when you find the house you want to buy, I'm guessing there's probably going to be somebody else who wants to buy that house. Or do you want to buy a house that nobody else wants? I'm guessing you want a house that, you know, is, you know, appealing to you. And if it's appealing to you, it's probably appealing to a lot of other people who are also experiencing the same thing you are, which is higher borrowing costs. But that actually, I think, could be a good thing for you. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, you know, one thing to consider is that you can always refinance your mortgage down to a lower mortgage rate in the future if, in fact, mortgage rates drop. Or you could also go interest only, or you could refinance to an ARM. I mean, you're going to have a lot of options for refinancing down in the future. But one thing you're not going to have an option of in the future is to dramatically lower your mortgage balance. So your big concern really should not be the mortgage interest rate. Your big concern, really, there's two big concerns. One is how much debt you're taking on, and then how much of a payment you're going to make. Listen, I got to tell you, I would all day long rather have an $800,000 mortgage at 5.5% than a $1 million mortgage at 3%. All day long, I would definitely prefer that, because, you know, that 5% rate could drop, and then I could refinance my $800,000 mortgage versus having a $1 million mortgage, which I can never refinance because I'm never going to get a better interest rate than I have right now. So that's one thing I think buyers really haven't really appreciated, that is that, you know, you're in a competitive environment. Everybody's in the same boat, and it's probably going to mean that you're going to end up paying less and having less debt with mortgage rates where they are than these really ultra low mortgage rates, which were allowing people to, you know, borrow gigantic sums of money. So I just want to put that into perspective for all you home buyers who are worried, oh my goodness, our mortgage rate's going to rise even more. Well, if they do, everyone else is going to have the very same problem. And when you're competing for your home in the future, just realize that these other buyers are also not going to have the same ability to pay, that you are not going to have the same ability to pay in the future either. But now, what if you are a seller? You know, a lot of sellers are also concerned about rising mortgage interest rates, and the sellers actually should be concerned about rising mortgage interest rates. A lot of sellers don't actually consider that because they are not going to be taking out a loan to sell their house, right? They're going to sell their house to a buyer who is going to be taking out a loan probably to buy their house. And sellers really need to appreciate the fact that these buyers are in fact going to have less purchasing power. And up to this point, up to now, I mean, like, mortgage interest rates started jumping up, you know, sort of in April and May, right? They, you know, just leapt up really. They shot up like a rocket, I guess you'd say. We haven't really, I don't believe, seen the full effect of that yet, because, you know, you have this pool of buyers, and some of these buyers are able to pay much higher prices than they were paying before. They can still do it. And so these buyers are still competing against each other. So you've gone from having 20 offers on a property now maybe to like, 4 or 5 offers on a property. And those 4 or 5 who are competing for that property, they're like the creme de la creme. But, after they buy their house, then we're going to go to second tier buyers who maybe can't be able to afford that much. And we're going to get down slowly as these more qualified buyers buy their homes. And we're going to start to see, we've already seen it, but basically a moderation in home prices, shall we say. Home prices are no longer rising at the same rate that they were before. In fact, home prices may be declining. And I think we're going to be continuing to see that because we're working our way through those buyers. Because, home buying is not something that you do in a day. It's not something you do in a week. Something that usually takes months or years. It's a long process, and so we're working our way through those buyers right now, and we're going to be getting down to the point where the buyers who want to buy right now, they're not the most qualified buyers anymore. So if you want to sell your house, which you're going to be selling to, increasingly is a pool of buyers that does not have the same purchasing power as those buyers that had certainly in March, April, May, June, and July, and August. Now August is done, right? So, that's one thing that sellers need to appreciate. It's not just the fact that mortgage interest rates are rising. It's just who is left still buying homes. And there are a lot of people still buying homes. But my point is that because the cycle takes so long, it takes so long to buy a house, that increasingly the people who are in the market are going to be those folks who tried to buy before, but they couldn't before, but now they're going to have a chance to buy because there is less competition for houses, but you're going to be getting this competition from this, less well qualified group of buyers. So if you are a seller, you definitely need to be concerned with rising mortgage interest rates today in a way that you may not have been in, say, May or June, because at that time there were still a lot of these really well qualified buyers, these big heavy hitters still in the market. Well, we're drifting down now, and it's not going to be the same story later on this autumn and then into the winter and the beginning of next year. So if you are a seller, you want to be aware of that, and you should realize that right now you have much more opportunity to sell at a higher price. I think a much greater opportunity now to sell higher that you're going to have in the next several months and probably into next year. But time will tell, but that's just how it looks to me. All right, well, that's all I really had to say in this video. And I do hope that you found it interesting and hopefully enjoyable. And if you did, I'm guessing you might also like some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do check those out. All right, that's all I got for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and please stay tuned.